what it means to be an American. America is freedom, and freedom is special and rare.
We, the people of this great nation.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
We, the people.
We, the people
of this great nation.
of this great nation.
Good morning, my fellow Americans. Today I have a special guest. His name is David Blackwelder. He's running for Wake County Sheriff's Department in Raleigh, North Carolina. How are you, buddy?
Oh, doing great. I appreciate you having me on.
It's a pleasure and it's an honor to have you on. As everybody that hears my show, they know I back the boys in blue. I'm a very strong police supporter. So I'm just gonna go ahead and ask you basically what platform are you running on right now? I know you're a Trump supporter. I looked through your Instagram. I know you believe in law and order, and my question is pretty much what is the platform you're running on right now? Like what are you gonna do to help this your county?
Yes, well, I'm the Republican candidate for sheriff, and right now we currently have a Democrat that's in office, and he is anti-gun. He doesn't cooperate with ICE. We had riots in Raleigh, and he basically did not want to help with security or making sure that the riots or any of the protesting would be stopped. It's just complete 360 from what we used to have. Our former sheriff was a Republican that was in office for 4 terms for about 16 years. Then the Democrat came in with the anti-ICE movement, and I'm just here to try and take the office back and make complete different changes, because also he's anti-gun, like I said, and he's basically he's had to have been sued twice now because he won't issue gun permits to people, or it takes several months when it's supposed to take only a couple weeks. It's taking him about 3, 4, even 5 months to complete a gun permit application, if at all. So,
Yeah, this is the type of stuff that I like to let my audience know so they could see what's happening in areas of this country and how bad the Democrats have been running these cities and how they're all kind of like conspiring on this whole removal of the Second Amendment. Criminals can have guns, but citizens can't. People that don't commit crimes and are law-abiding citizens, they're trying everything possible to disarm them, and then they can't protect themselves, and then they're promoting defunding the police, which is something that I am so against, because I mean statistically we know what the stats are and the interactions police officers have with the African American community, and it's rarely an incident where the police officers just straight up aggressive towards the individual and there's no justification behind it, as we've seen from several different incidents that have happened, like Ferguson. And my whole thing is, so you've had in your county, you've had riots.
yes.
And it's been out of control. They haven't done anything to stop it. They haven't done any, because I live in Lee County, which is in Fort Myers, Florida. Over here they don't mess around. Like, this is why I moved over here. I moved from Miami to Fort Myers because I wanted to live in a place that I knew it was Republican ran, and I wanted to make sure that I was protected and my kids would have a good place, a good place to have like a nice childhood where I can raise my kids in a great atmosphere. And this is the type of stuff that I've been talking about on my podcast consistently, which is how the left is just destroying our country. They're just forgetting about law and order. People can't go to church, but people can go out and riot. So
Yeah, you bring up a good point of, it's all an agenda. I mean, if you look at it for the sheriffs, and it's not just in Wake County where this happened. This happened in Mecklenburg, Buncombe, and Durham. You have these strategical areas where the Democrats bankrolled, like the ACLU. I've never heard of the ACLU giving money towards campaigns. they gave like buy ads and advertisements on TV and the radio. I know specifically for the Wake County Sheriff race. It was probably valued at over $100,000 they did for him. And they just attacked the former sheriff on ICE and things like that, and he got in there. And it's just a complete disaster. And then you see where, you can't tell me if you see where he's dragging his feet on the gun permits, you see him dragging his feet with cooperation with ICE. All the new sheriffs that took over have the same platform of doing this. So they know that they can't get this stuff passed in the legislature. So what they do is the same thing with judges. They'll use these judges or they'll use sheriffs, whatever they got to do to implement their policies. Is like a workaround of the legislature.
Yeah, they're playing the system.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Now, let me ask you a question. How are you looking in the poll numbers? How are you looking in this race? Is it tight? Are you on the lead, or do you have any information on that?
Yeah, there's not really any information on it, but if you look at the trend, I mean, it's definitely going to be an uphill battle because we'll have to actually back up and actually see what happens with the 2020. That'd be a more clearer picture, but it just depends of turnout, and then also in Wake County in particular, it's majority Democrat, so it's going to be an uphill battle, regardless. But just a matter of, I think people are just had it with, because a lot of the people that actually voted for this current sheriff, their businesses have been destroyed. And they're Democrats. So I'm sure even if they are still Democrats after this, they are going to vote accordingly because at the end of the day, they want law and order. They want to protect their businesses and their investments. So I would imagine, even though they're Democrat, they will vote the other way, but we will see. We'll just have to see how it goes,
Well, you know that internal polls are actually showing Trump does internal polls on all his rallies, and there's about a 23% of the people that show up to his rallies that are Democrat, that are registered Democrats. So that's something to have a little bit of optimism, because I saw the approval ratings on the whole Black Lives Matter movement, which I believe it's not even a real. I think it's a political movement. I think it has nothing to do with Black lives. They apparently only appear when it's a white cop shooting a black person, but whenever there's every weekend in Chicago killings, you don't see Black lives anywhere. They're like ghosts. But nevertheless, that's an interesting way of looking at it, because it's actually showing the support for Black Lives Matter had dropped after people have been seeing these constant protests. People are tired of it, and the riots and the burning of buildings. And honestly speaking, over here it's been Republican forever. The protests that were here were all peaceful. When they got out of hand, quickly, our county sheriff deployed the police, got them all out of there, and he cleared up the area, made sure nothing happened. And that's the type of security and safety that everybody wants, and that's obviously what you're promoting and what you're trying to accomplish for the people in your county.
Yeah, absolutely. I will support freedom of speech and the First Amendment, even if I disagree, or even if it's something that's not even, like I tell people all the time, like, I am totally against communism, but if somebody wanted to peacefully protest for it, by all means go for it. As long as you're not hurting anybody or just destroying property or something like that, I don't care what you do, because everybody has that right. A lot of people have fought and died for that right, and I will protect it even if I disagree. However, once it becomes violent, or once you start attacking somebody else's property and their livelihood, it stops immediately. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to stop it with a heavy hand. And I think that's where the issue is you have these Democratic politicians like we saw or in this area that are kind of taking their time or kind of creating these situations where they want the police to have, handle this with white gloves, so to speak. And you just can't do that. It doesn't work. You're emboldening them. And, I think the issue with the Black Lives Matter movement, it's not, I think a lot of people are legitimately there for the right reasons, but you have those that are there with their own agenda that cause these problems. And to the actual organization itself, I don't necessarily agree with what they stand, like their full agenda of items. But as far as, the police reform, I think a majority of people are okay with, touching on that subject or even coming together. I have no problem going to those events or talking with actual people that want actual change, not just there to cause problems or want to, race bait or things like that. That is uncalled for. That doesn't help anything. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen it. We've seen it firsthand. Apparently, the Democrats think that this chaos is good for them, and I think it's actually going to backfire come election day. I think people are staying quiet. They're just staying in their homes and they're going to the voting box and they're going to vote. They're going to vote on facts and they're going to vote on what affects their lives. Because I think that the Democrats think this chaoticness works and it doesn't. I think people are tired of this. I think people are tired of seeing their neighborhoods. And people don't realize this. This is starting off in these areas, but it's going to end up in everybody's front door. If this doesn't get under control, this is going to end up affecting everybody, even people that think it doesn't get affected. I mean, we saw what happened in St. Louis to that couple. It was just ridiculous. And it's something that I'm just tired of watching it on TV. I keep watching this and I'm like, how do these people have the energy to keep doing this every single day? And as for the organization, you are correct. I do believe the same thing exactly as what you just stated, which is I feel that the organization itself is a Marxist movement, but I feel that the people that are behind it really do care about Black lives. Like the individuals that show up to these protests, not riots, I think they really do believe in the whole Black Lives Matter movement. As the co-founder was caught, I mean, she said it openly. It's a Marxist movement, that she's a trained Marxist. I mean, it's obvious, like if the co-founder's saying that, we know where they stand on. I mean, there's a war on police and people don't realize that without police, we have no freedom. Police provide that freedom that we have. They're the ones that protect us. Alyssa Milano, which I don't know if you know who she is, the actress, she's all about defunding the police. All she does is mention defund police, defund police. The other day she had an intruder in her house. Who'd she call? 911. It's very convenient to request to defund the police, but then when you need them, you quickly dial them and they show up to your house.
Yeah, that's another good important point, is that the same ones over there in, I believe where it was, in Minnesota, I can't recall the name, but that town council that was all behind, started this defund the police thing. They actually, when they were reducing the police or were voting on that, or they were disbanding them and things like that, they hired their own personal private security. So they paid on the city's dime for their own personal private security, but yet now the citizens don't get that.
Yeah,
that just shows you the mentality.
Yeah, they're protected, just like Mayor Lightfoot. Her house is secured by police officers. I'm just telling you, America, for those of you who listen to me, and I have quite an audience. For those of you who live in this county, in Wake County, you need to vote for David Blackwelder. I am telling you, Republicans fix problems. We don't create them. We fix them. That's what we do. That's what we believe in the Constitution. We believe in people's rights, their freedoms, but we believe in law and order. And David, I want to, do you have a website? Do you have anything for people to donate? For anybody, even people, guys, anybody who wants to just help a candidate, a Republican candidate that's going to help a county, you should donate money to it. I mean, I donate money everywhere to every single candidate that I can. I've even donated to Lindsey Graham. I mean, and I live in Florida. So, I mean, we got to show support. We got to help all these other places, and we got to help these candidates help our country get better. So do you have any website? Do you have anywhere where people can go and donate and help you out to try to see if we can match or at least get close to it or help you get your message out there?
Yeah, absolutely. It's WakeCountySheriff.com, and that's just the full website. Or, you can go to PoliceWake.com, and that has all of my social media links, connections to everything. And, you can always donate off the website, or if you text WAKE, WAKE to 22525. That'll pull up my donation stuff too. But the main thing is spreading the message on social media, like following on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, liking, sharing. That continues the message to move forward, and other people will see it. So that has really changed the game of politics and the way things work. If you've noticed, like on Twitter for Trump, he is able to get his message out to millions of people easily, to where it's, you don't have to see. That's what's confusing the media, is that he's working around them, because they will try to have their influence or spread their message, which is typically not correct or is inaccurate, or they're trying to move the needle, so to speak. Well, now he just goes directly to the people. So
Yeah, I mean, Twitter has been crucial for his I mean, I was interviewed yesterday by Fox News, and I was interviewed by local Fox though, and it's so amazing to see the difference between local news stations and how they're actually journalists compared to CNN, MSNBC, and all these people where they're opinionated. It's not real news; it's opinions. And this lady, I thought she was gonna trick me. I thought I was walking into a trick, because it was all about. Because I'm a minority. I'm Hispanic, but I'm a first generation American. My family came from Cuba, and then they came here to the United States. My dad served in the military. He was in Vietnam and worked for the federal government for 35 years. And I thought she was baiting me. I really thought she was, but I saw the interview last night on the news, and it was she was extremely non-biased. I mean, it was real news. She covered me. She didn't clip me in any which way where she made me look bad. And I think that the media is really doing an injustice to the American people. They really are. They're not really. I mean, Nadler, for example, is a perfect example. He literally said that these riots were a Washington hoax, or like that this was fabricated by Washington, D.C. I mean, it's crazy to me that these people are just denying these things are happening in all these cities, when we know Americans are being affected every single day in your county, in other counties where their businesses are being burned to the ground, and these people have worked their entire lives. And these are not white people. These are they're African American people that they're losing their businesses that they worked really hard to establish, and they're being affected by this. So for all of those that are listening in, you guys really need to step up. You guys need to help him out. You can follow him. I mean, you could just Google his name and you'll find all his. I Googled him. You can find all his information, his Facebook page. You need to follow him. You need to support him. You need to send the message out there. We need to support every state, every city, because this is America. It's one country. We're all united. And wherever change happens, it affects all of us. Whether we believe it, it's a domino effect. David, I want to thank you for being on my show. I greatly appreciate it. And I wish you the best of luck. And I'm personally gonna retweet everything that you post out there to my audience, and I'm gonna send the message out there. So I appreciate you taking your time and being on my show.
Oh no, absolutely, anytime. And thanks for having me. And appreciate all your help and everything you're doing. And just let me know anytime you ever need me. I appreciate your help.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Well, there you have it, guys. You're seeing firsthand what's happening in this country, and the reason I brought him on to this show is because I really wanted people to have an understanding of what's happening in all these counties. Okay, we have violence, we have protests, we have no law and order, and the Democrats are just letting it happen. They're just letting it happen. They're not doing anything about it, and they're all, believe it or not, they're all part of the same agenda. I'm not saying it's a conspiracy. I'm just saying they run on a specific ideology, I guess, like a specific way, and they all just follow that way. And it's affecting American people. It's affecting everybody. And if you think this is never gonna end up in your front doorstep, you've got something else going for you, man. I mean, already we're seeing that they're hitting up suburban areas. They're hitting up a lot of different places and rioting and not letting people sleep at night for no apparent reason. People that haven't done anything, people that have never done anything wrong to them, and that hasn't been involved in any crime towards African Americans. And I'm not just pointing the finger at African Americans, because if you really actually look at what's happening in Portland, the majority of the people that are rioting in Portland are white, which I find it to be quite interesting, since literally I saw a video the other day where they used the N-word to a guy that was promoting, Blue Lives Matter and all that stuff, and they literally punched him in the face and everything, and they called him the N-word, and they were there supposedly protesting for Black Lives Matter. So there's something going on, and we need to look into this, and we need to show support to all of our local. We need to get out there. We need to vote. We need to make our voices heard. We need to make sure that we put the right people in office that are going to take care of our communities and are going to work with our community, because it's very key that police officers work with the community so everybody is on the same page, okay? Because we don't want police brutality either. We want everybody to feel safe in their neighborhoods, but we want everybody to be treated equally. That being said, guys, thank you for tuning in. God bless you. God bless your families, and God bless this beautiful country we call America. Thank you.